I am glad to return after a 2-year hiatus for various reasons that were largely both within and outside my control. And I'm happy to return us to the Star Wars Expanded Universe Book Club. We are going to now talk about the conclusion to the Jedi Academy trilogy, Champions of the Force. Okay, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I had in the past ones because we are live on stream right now. It's going to be a little bit different of a thing here because you guys are interactive. I can talk to you guys about it, and you guys can now ask me questions about this, questions about the expanded universe as we go along, because that's the fun of it. I decided to do this for live streaming now because I want to do book club as an interactive experience. And hopefully, as we go forward, we'll bring on guests for this segment. Somebody else who's read the book book for the month and come in and we can have a discussion and talk it. Maybe even multiple guests for a sort of panel discussion, as it were. But for now, it's just me today talking about Champions of the Force. So we pick up essentially where we left off last time. If you were not aware what happens, I'm going to briefly say a couple things, and you can always go back and watch the other book club reviews, discussions about Jedi Search and Dark Apprentice. What's going on here is now we left Luke is in a coma. Jedi Grandmaster Luke Skywalker is in a coma because his academy on Yavin 4, he didn't know this. When he went to Yavin 4, he did not know the history of the Sith of Jedi Civil War, where Exar Kun almost won. He didn't know that. He didn't know that the Sith Lord, the dark spirit of Exar Kun, was still technically alive and kicking. Not a Force ghost, but a Force spirit. He's an entity. He hasn't transcended into the living Force yet. He's a spirit attached to the temples in Yavin 4, which he built, which he had the Masasai build in order to amplify his dark Force abilities. And at the end of the Jedi Civil War, way back when, the Sith War, he sacrificed himself to turn himself into a ghost so he could manipulate things and stay alive until all his enemies had passed on and an unknowing Force sensitives will come around. So Exar Kun corrupted Kip Duran by getting into his head and playing on his fears and his anger over the Empire and stuff like that. And Kip, with the help of Exar Kun, fought Luke and basically separated Luke's soul, his spirit, from his body. So we have a problem now is you've got Luke is in a coma. Kip pulled the Sun Crusher, the Empire's last essentially super weapon, from the core of Yavin. He pulled it out of the gas giant where it didn't get crushed. That's how strong the material was. And he stole it and then goes about nuking, literally nuking solar systems. Because here, you don't know what the Sun Crusher does. I mean, you know what? Let me bring up a picture of the Sun Crusher real quick. Let me show you what the Sun Crusher looks like if you don't know what it is. Let me get it real quick here. The Sun Crusher, built in the Maw installation, one of the last of the Emperor's super weapons, designed to destroy stars, not destroy a planet, destroy a star by firing a specialized torpedo into the core of the star, and eventually it would cause it to be destroyed. So right here, let's get here's a good picture. Nice. That's not a big one. Find a bigger picture. Got a bigger picture. It's the best I'm going to get it. Let's open a new tab. So here's a picture of Kip, young Kip. He's only like 15, 16 right here. Kip and the Sun Crusher. Now, it may look weird, but you have to understand that this thing is a monster of a machine and what it can do. Its metal plating is nigh indestructible. The way that it was created, it was destructible. It was just couldn't be destroyed. So it can literally crash through a ship to blow it up. And its weapons are minimal, but it's the torpedo launcher that is the thing, where the torpedo is, as I said, designed to essentially cause a sun to die and supernova. And then when in supernovas, of course, it will destroy the whole system. Now, it takes, like, I believe, 4 hours, if I remember correctly, to do that. Real quick, I need to blow my nose. Hold on 1 second. I apologize. Can't have snot working around my nose and shit like that. So it destroys a solar system and all the planets in it. And what Kip does is Kip goes about destroying remaining Imperial strongholds in the galaxy. Now, during this thing, Han and Chewie, who's developed a relationship with Kip because he rescued him from the spice mines of Kessel back in Jedi Search. Han and Kip have a very strong bond, and Han goes out to try and get him to stop. He's trying to get it to not have him do this more, because he believes in what Luke says in the beginning, that anybody can be brought back if they've turned. There's still good in him. And Kip's just messed up right now because he doesn't know if his what we're gonna do now is we're gonna jump around certain major plot arcs. I'm not gonna go every detailed thing. We're gonna jump around the major plot arcs, and I'm gonna talk about how good they are. How Kevin J. Anderson does a really good job of bringing to life the emotion of these characters, the bonds, the instances, and you get great real Star Wars character work here. So what happens is Kip first goes to the Imperial Academy. I forget the name of the planet. I finished rereading this a couple of months ago, so it's kind of not as fresh as it should be. But he goes to that system and he tells them he fires off the torpedo, saying, at first he gives him a chance. Give me my brother. Tell me what happened to my brother, who you said was dead, or I blow it up. Or I blow up the system. Well, they pussyfoot and they lie to him. And then he fires torpedo to kill the system. But then suddenly they find his brother is still alive. And they push him out there. And Kip, realizing what he's done, is racing against time. He's got literally minutes to get to the planet's surface and try and pick up his brother in the Sun Crusher and save him, because he's triggered the supernova. Problem is, he doesn't get there, and he watches his brother die by his own hand. And that just pushes him further into the misery of the dark side while he's being controlled by Exar Kun, who, back on Yavin 4, is trying to kill Luke's spirit so he can take over Luke's body and corrupt the rest of his of the members of the Academy, his new Jedi students. So Han eventually will catch up to Kip. Meanwhile, moving alongside all of this are the plot arcs of Leia trying to hold the New Republic together, because Mon Mothma, the real Mon Mothma, not Andor Mon Mothma, the real Mon Mothma is dying, and nobody knows why. She's dying, and Leia's trying to hold everything together. Meanwhile, she doesn't know that the governor, who was in charge of the academy that Kip just blew up, has found out where baby Anakin Solo and Winter are hiding. And he has a dream of kidnapping baby Anakin Solo and turning him into the next emperor to rule over the Empire. So he sets out to try and capture them. Problem is, though, his spy, a Mon Cal, whose name I can't remember right now, who was a loyal lieutenant of Akbar. What happened to this dude was that he got kidnapped at one point and had his brains scooped out by Imperials, and they implanted cybernetics that forced them to control him. Therefore, he's an unwilling spy, an unwilling collaborator to do Imperial dirty work. And we learn now that way back in Jedi Search, the whole story started when Leia and Admiral Akbar were going to visit another planet to celebrate their special wind temple. They crashed into it and destroyed it, and everybody thought that it was because Akbar screwed up. No, we learned that this dude right here, following the orders of the Imperial governor of the Academy, sabotaged Akbar's B-Wing, and Akbar wasn't at fault. And eventually he reveals this to Leia. They tell Akbar, and Akbar gets his mojo back, and then him and Leia rush to save baby Anakin. And I think was Han there too. Han might have been there too at that point. Han might have been there too. I don't remember. And they eventually get there, but it's a really cool sequence on there where Winter, who doesn't get enough play, Winter, who should be included in all rebellion stuff as the eidetic memory mastermind of knowing where every single rebel cell was, Winter and Anakin have this great sequence of running from the assault teams where they have all these traps set up and this and that, and they hold out until Akbar and Leia and Han and Akbar's compromised lieutenant get there to save them. And the governor general tries to get away, but Akbar's lieutenant, because the Imperial Academy's been destroyed, he's not under anybody's control, but he's so self-loathing, he wants to Minecraft himself. So what he does after he kills the Academy governor, he then tries to Minecraft himself. But Akbar says, no, you're not going to do this. You're going to atone for what you've done. You're going to make good, and I'm going to help you. And he says, okay, Admiral, if you have faith in me, I'll do it. This is good stuff. This is how you take a minor character, and you turn him into something interesting. You know what? Let me get his name real quick. Hold on a second. Let me get his name real quick because it's a good name. We're talking about him. I should have his name up here. Let me get his name. I had it up here earlier. Here we go. His name was where is it? Where is it? I had it. Oh, here it is. Terpfen, Terpfen, Terpfen wants to F himself after he kills that guy off, but he doesn't because Akbar saves him. He gives him another chance, and it's how to make you feel for a character. I mean, think about it. This is a dude who's been an unwilling spy for the Imperials because they kidnapped him and scooped his brains out and put in cybernetics to control him. It's good writing. It's good character work. You feel for him, and he gets second chance. All right, so meanwhile, after a bunch of stuff going on, now you have the two parallel lines going on here of Han, whether he's part of that or not, Han and Chewie and Lando trying to chase down Kip. And Leia and the others now back on Yavin 4 trying to rescue Luke. Because what happens is they take Jaina and Jason over to see Luke because there's a big memorial service for Luke later on, early in the beginning of the book, and everybody thinks he's dead, but Leia and the twins find out he isn't. And there's it's kind of a comical sequence. It's a little comical, I can admit that, where at one point where Exar Kun summons a bunch of dark side beasties to try and kill Luke's body. Luke, because Jason Solo can see Luke kind of guides the 5-year-old or the 5-year-old in wielding his lightsaber to defend his body. And everybody walks in on the event seeing tiny little kid using Luke's lightsaber to fend off these flying beasties. It's a little comical to say he's moving with the depth and grace of Jedi Master. That's a little bit of a reach for me. That's a little bit of a reach that even young Jason Solo, child Jason Solo, was capable of doing that. But they did it anyway, and that's when they realized Luke's alive. And what happens is, in a fantastic... Here's how great this is. Here's how much... And at the time, I didn't get it. When I was a kid and I read this, I didn't get it. I didn't get what Kevin J. Anderson was doing was brilliant storytelling, a new take on a Force battle, on a Jedi-Sith battle. And I'm going to use this as an example of when you look at the fake fan stands who go, oh my God, why do you always need Star Wars to have Force and lightsabers and pew, 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 pew? Oh, it's good writing. We just have people doing drama. No, this is Star Wars at its heart. And it's done without lightsabers, with a Jedi-Sith light side, dark side confrontation. So what happens is this. The Luke's Jedi students, they are now committed to try and pulling him back from his semi purgatory that he's in, where he's just floating above his body and can't interact with anything and can't use the Force. And Exar Kun, he's trying to corrupt all of them. He's trying to get in their heads, but they're resisting. They're pushing back over and over again, and he's getting frustrated. And finally, he tries to just go after Luke. And what happens is all his students join together in meditation filling themselves with the Force. And together, they join their life energy in the same way Luke and Leia did to defeat Palpatine at the end of Dark Empire. And they push back and they literally overwhelm the spirit of Exar Kun with the light side of the Force. And it's brilliant. It shows you, to me, this is a masterclass of understanding the Force and how it works. That Kevin J. Anderson did his research and he said, you know what? I'm not going to have a lightsaber duel. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you a metaphysical battle where they are just sitting there. They're having conversations, and Luke and Exar Kun are going back and forth at each other, saying, Exar Kun saying, oh, you're not going to pull this off. They're weak. I'm going to corrupt them all. And then I'm going to spread across the galaxy again. And Luke's going, no. They have understood the teachings I've put before them. They understand that together they can beat you because they're pure of thought, because their will, their desire, because they're not giving in to hate, anger, and aggression. They're relying on each other. They're going to win. They do. Luke doesn't win this. His students win this. They push back Exar Kun, and Luke's able to return to his body again. Now, at the same time, Han and Lando have tracked down Kip, who I believe they were at. I believe it's at. Let me check real quick. Let me check. I believe it's at Kessel. Where they track him down. No, it's the Core Worlds. No, they're at the Core Worlds. They track him down to the Core Worlds. Sorry, just had to check. And what they do is they track him down, and Han, Lando, and Chewie try to first jerry rig and take and basically do what Kirk did to Khan in Star Trek II, hijack the controls of the Sun Crusher. They fail, and Kip notices, and he's going to fire off the torpedo through the Falcon into the sun. But Han's talking, and just as Kip is about to lose it, completely give in and destroy this guy who's done everything for him, they defeat Exar Kun. And the link between Exar Kun and Kip is broken. And Kip realizes, oh my, what have I done? And then he gives up and surrenders to Han. And they take him back to Coruscant for trial and stuff like that. Either way, there's so much emotion in that stuff. And you realize Kip now he has gone dark side. He is tainted. And he has a journey to come back from. And it begins with destroying the Sun Crusher so that no one can ever use it again. Problem is, how do you destroy this thing that's indestructible? You can't toss it in the sun because that would make the sun go nova. And the sun, that wouldn't even destroy it because the Sun Crusher can survive a supernova. It can survive it. You can't put it at the core of a gas giant because even those gravitational forces weren't enough to destroy it. So what do? You got to toss it in a black hole. So now we're in the climax here where everybody's heading back towards the Maw cluster and Kessel. And this is where Lando's storyline comes in. Now, because Lando helped Han has helped Lando, who's been working with Mara to try and create a new Smuggler Alliance cooperation for a new mining venture on Kessel. Problem is, the creepy weirdo frog creature who's in charge of Kessel has locked it all down, and nobody can get in. So after a very fun assault on his domain, Han, Lando, and Chewie and Mara they manage to liberate it. Problem is, as they're doing that, there's also been a whole other storyline. Oh no, Chewie hasn't been there. I forgot. Chewie hasn't been there. I apologize. Chewie was with Wedge attacking the Maw installation to try and get information, which goes belly up because what happens is the scientists in charge steal the Death Star prototype and escape the Maw cluster. So right as they're all doing that, right as they're getting Kessel in control and Han and Lando and Kip are there trying to get rid of the Sun Crusher at the same time, here comes the prototype Death Star with a fully operational planet buster. At the same time, Luke has showed up to try and help out. And what happens is there's a pitched battle between the Smuggler Alliance forces and the Millennium Falcon and everybody there against this prototype Death Star, and they can't destroy it. But the Death Star escapes temporarily. And all this time, here comes Admiral Dala. Dala's been running around out there causing mischief. She comes back to try and take over the Maw cluster and all that shit. And it's a wild, chaotic thing. Everybody fighting, doing this and that. Finally, what happens is the Millennium Falcon attached to the Death Star, they manage to get out. They do some damage to the Death Star to cause it to overheat, and they get away from it. It's eventually going to get destroyed when it gets caught in the gravitational black holes of the Maw cluster, along with the Sun Crusher. Problem is, Kip, in helping push it in there, he almost gets trapped because this is Kip starting to try to atone for what he's done. And Kip almost dies, but he manages to get in the not an escape pod, but like a tube of something in the Sun Crusher and eject it, where Han picks it up and everybody is rescued and okay. And now he's going to go back, and instead of being put on trial and put in jail, he's handed over to Luke's Jedi Academy for redemption. And at the end of all of this, we learned from the information gotten from Turpin that the Governor Academy in charge of the governor in charge of the Imperial Academy, he had poisoned Mon Mothma back in book 2. Remember I told you in Dark Apprentice, when he throws the drink on her, that's when he poisoned her. And that's what's been killing her. It's been a microvirus doing it, living nanites. And what happens is, now, again, this is why Disney Star Wars is so fucked. It's so fucked because they introduced shitty force healing from a video game. Here's real force healing. What happens is Silgal, future Jedi healer master, she's just starting to come into her powers. She's starting to understand it. She goes to Mon Mothma and says, I think I can heal you. I've sensed what's going on here, but I'm going to have to literally use the Force to pluck every single nanite out of your body. And that's what she does. In hours and hours and hours of meditation and careful plucking, Silgal literally pulls the nanite disease out of Mon Mothma to save her life. How do you like that, man? How's that for true innovative use of the Force? Not just, I'm Disney Star Wars, I'm going to touch you for force healing like in a video game. No, that's real, respectful understanding of the Force. That's good use of character. And it's also now setting up Silgal as the future healer teacher of the Jedi, of Luke's new Jedi Order. It's good stuff, man. And then at the very end, Mon Mothma says to Leia, okay, I'm done. I've been doing this for a number of years now. Leia, guess what? You are now chief of state. You're chief of state. You're gonna be put. We're gonna elect you chief of state now. Leia's like, what? You make me chief of state? Are you serious? Damn it! Now I'm gonna be in charge. And then it ends in a perfect poetic kind of what's the word? I forgot the word. Symmetry. It ends with the finished reconstruction of the Wind Temple that had been damaged at the beginning of the first book, with everybody, including Akbar and Leia, all the Jedi, Luke, Han, they all go there to see the reinauguration of the reintroduction of it, where now they're going to sing again, and it's conclusion that everything, and here's the messaging, everything that's broken can be rebuilt. Even if you turn to the dark side like Kip did, you can come back. You can come back. You can be a good person. It's going to take work, but you can come back and do it. And that's why Kevin G. Anderson is hailed as one of the original great writers of Star Wars, because he gets this shit. Now, is this book perfect? No. I told you a couple goofy moments there. Kevin J. Anderson also has a really bad habit of saying everybody's full name all the time. And it's a very strange thing when he does that. But it's still overall good. It's a great conclusion to the Jedi Academy trilogy. And I enjoy it. It's a fun read. I recommend it. But we're done. So there it is. We are done with the Jedi Academy trilogy, Champions of the Force. I hope you guys had a good time enjoying this one. And now we're moving on to the next book. First, I'm going to show you the timeline real quick. I got the timeline ready. Let's bring up the timeline, our guiding force to enjoying Real Star Wars. So what we have right here is the expanded universe timeline, your guide to doing it right. So we're right here. We're right here. We just finished the Jedi Academy trilogy. Now, I read I read main timeline storybooks. I don't read the side adventures. Jedi, I've heard, is always a good book, but we are going now to Barbara Hamley's Children of the Jedi. That's what we're going to. We're going to Children of the Jedi, and we're going to read this for Thursday, I believe. Let me check it again. I forgot. We will come back and have book club again on Thursday, May 29th. Thursday, May 29th, we will come back and have book club for Children of the Jedi. And then in June, we'll do Darksaber. And then in July, we'll do Planet of Twilight. And then in September, we do Crystal Star. Yes, Dom, this is what I sent you. That is what I sent you, the timeline. So there you go, guys. That is EU Book Club. I'm happy to be back for EU Book Club. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is real Star Wars. And in this time, we need as much real Star Wars as possible. We need as much as possible. So Barbara Hamley, Children of the Jedi, the beginning of what some call the Callista arc, the introduction of Callista, who plays a very important role in Luke's development. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.